Reset. Remix. Grand Rising, ladies and gentlemen, guys and goddesses, aliens, extraterrestrials, and earthlings.
Fakes and reals.
Fakes and reals, bros and hoes,
Oh,
foes, foes and comrades. What you over there doing? No, you good?
all right. Well, I guess you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know what the hell happened with that first one, but we rebooted and we're ready to go. Yeah, so I was just saying, I was actually talking to myself, I guess, but I was saying, welcome to another mindset and mindful my day with Think High Crew, twelve
Hey,
thirty Eastern Standard Time. That's PM, not AM. And I'm
hey.
back at it again. And I was just gonna say real quick, I just got back from a nice weekend getaway, and I'm back to the real world. And the real world is, man, it's crazy, bro. It really is, man. Because I don't
Oh
live in the city
shit.
no more, so I don't too much experience a lot of homelessness. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I go over to Brunswick, like you just see like normal homeless people, and when I say that, I mean you can tell like everybody has a small amount of homeless. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you're at. And a lot of people migrate from north down to the south during these winter times,
Mm-hmm.
panhandler, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But in Jacksonville, Florida, bro, like it just for somebody like me that wants to help everybody but knows I can't, and I know that the boundaries have to be set, or unless and if you don't do that, then you're screwed also, right?
Can't pour from an empty cup, bro. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I hear you.
Just seeing the people like sleeping on the street as I was leaving the Hyatt
Mm-hmm.
Regency, which is like fucking $500 a night to stay there. And you get away from that little area, and then you see like before you get on the interstate, you see people asleep. It's like it was like 11:30 a.m. And people are
Right.
asleep on the sidewalk, bro. And I'm just like, it just,
And we also have to put in the mind fact, man. I seen a dude in Seattle. I didn't see him personally, but there was a dude who was documenting. I was watching this documentary on panhandling and shit like that, right? Now, not saying that people who panhandle are all scammers, but there was a guy in Seattle who made like $1 million a year sitting outside of this hotel, and he would even give the hotel a piece of his money, and he would park his Benz in the fucking hotel parking lot. You know what I mean? And the dude would literally get on his whole costume and fucking
right.
go sit in front of the goddamn hotel, got his panhandle license, and then people would give him money, and like he made like $1 million a year just sitting outside and letting people give him fucking money, bro. And because he, had to deal with the hotel owner, he was giving them some money too just to let him do it,
Right.
and he was paid, and then he would fucking get up after like a shift at work, bro, and fucking get in his fucking bins, and like it was like nobody really saw it, like nobody was really paying enough attention. You know what I mean? To be like,
Nobody really gives a damn. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
they don't look twice. They don't even look twice.
They don't. They don't. They don't. They don't.
The only reason somebody gives somebody money when they ask them just to get them the fuck away from them.
Yeah, nine
You know
times
what I
out of
mean?
10. But
Like,
he was just praying on like a spot where he knew
oh, where was
the
money at?
yeah, and he knew the people with, what I mean, they've been tipping bar boys and fucking bar hops and fucking room service all fucking weekend long, you know what I mean? So they gonna take whatever little chump change they got in their fucking pocket and just give it to them, you know what I mean? And then chump change for them, that's gonna be 20, $30, they might throw in that dude's fucking cup at a time. And the documentary was just crazy on the percentage of people who actually get a check or have money from the government or whatever, or retirement or whatever, and they just go out there and do it just to have some extra money. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they was just, so you do have to incorporate that in your thoughts when you be thinking like, man, I want to help everybody, but then you start thinking like, well, goddamn, these motherfuckers that get there take you up top in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even know he'll drive off in a Bentley, and you just gave him $5 just because you thought he was doing worse than you. But so
Exactly.
yeah. But I feel you though. I'll be wanting to help. I'll be wanting to help cats too, man. When I was in Cleveland State University, it was a lot of homeless people who slept around because the university is right in the middle of the goddamn downtown. But then right outside the university ain't nothing but the hood. But they had these churches and where all these homeless cats would sleep, and they would always come up and ask for money. Someone they was hungry, and you'd be like, okay, well, cool. If you hungry, then let's go over here to this pizza shop. They got dollar slices. I'll get you like 3 slices of pizza right now. And they were like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I want you to just give me $3. And you like, nigga, what? I thought you said you was hungry. If you was hungry, bro, then come on, let's go get you some food right now. No, you ain't hungry. You just trying to get at least 20 motherfuckers to give you $3, and then you gonna go get some fucking drugs. So
Exactly.
yeah, I feel it, man.
I think that's like one of the dilemmas of it is, like you see somebody during the day sleeping on a sidewalk with all of their belongings around them. And you're like, how is this person asleep at 11:30, almost 12 o'clock
Hmm.
on the sidewalk, bro? Like, obviously they're extremely bad off mentally, or they're on some type of drugs and they've been up all night hustling this, that, trying to whatever the fuck goes on during that time period. But I look at it and I'm like, there's no way I could be asleep. I don't give a fuck how tired I was. There's no way I could be asleep on the sidewalk when it's daylight.
Yeah, not when I'm homeless and I could be
Oh,
possibly,
yeah. I
you know
mean,
what I mean, doing something for myself to make some fucking shit happen.
and then you got to look at you just got to look at it and be like, well, obviously that means that person is bad off in one other way. And then the person that is hanging out by the hotel door with a little
Hmm.
slick talk, a little slick this, a little slick that. That's the one that's got a nice ass little spot somewhere and is
Yep.
hustling the shit out of everybody.
Yep.
And he's getting a check too.
Yep. Oh yeah, he was, I think he was like retired from some shit, you know what I mean? Like he was retired or some shit, and he was just collecting it, but he was just fucking bored. And like
Then,
and
like
instead
you
of
said,
just getting you know what I mean? He was just like, I'll sit out here and collect bread and pretend I'm homeless. And I'm like,
like
damn, and like you can
like
just
you said about the food part, it's like
yeah.
so as we were leaving, I heard this guy screaming like, and this is right there by the hotel,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Fuck yeah, fuck, 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 fuck," all that, fuck, fuck, fuck. And so I look, and me, I'm just always looking around. I just always know what's going on
Observant.
around. And so I see a woman, and I'm like, "Oh, I see. I already know what happened." He asked her for some money. She told him no, or she gave him what he didn't want. He wanted more, or she said, "I'll give
Right.
you some food," or whatever it is. He got pissed the fuck off and started cussing her out and did something to her. And she was on the phone talking to either a hotel or police, probably police, because somebody from the hotel had already came out there and was asking her, was she okay? And so it's like, it's like who's in the wrong at that point? You know what I mean? Probably the dude that was standing down there harassing people. Even though you're hungry, maybe the spot to be at not
Suck
in
your
the
mother.
grill. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of programs out there, but they
Yeah,
won't
you
deal
right.
with
What's
the
up,
test
Angel Bear?
positive for dope.
You're absolutely right.
A lot of the programs that are designed to not take care of people but help them get on their feet, they
Yeah.
won't allow you to come to those places if you're on some type of substance, and if you don't do what you're supposed to do, like if you don't go to this job thing, or if you don't go to this mental health facility, like a meeting there to try to better yourself or whatever it is. I know it might be state ran and state funded, and there's just a lot of bullshit. But if you really want to get through it and push through it, I believe you can. So I guess I'll
Oh
drop
yeah.
there. We ain't gonna just
No,
talk
no,
about.
yeah. Well, we was just talking about your weekend. You had a good anniversary weekend. Y'all went and saw some dope shit, and this is some shit that you realized or was aware of or being mindful
Well, it's
of
just
while
something
you
that
was there. Yeah, that's
exactly.
cool.
It's something that you don't think about. Like you don't think about the whole aspect of it until you see it right there, and then you're like, damn, like. And then you get back home and you're like, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, like everybody makes their choices. Everybody's got a
Hmm.
decision, and everybody chooses the life that they want to live, regardless.
Absolutely right. Megawatt, what's up? Grand Rising, or well, yeah, because it is earlier where you at. How you
Yes,
doing?
Grand Rising. Yes, yes. How are y'all?
Oh man, I'm doing all right. Nova spent a dope ass weekend being seeing how King Tut lived. I was making music and fucking
Nice.
writing shit all fucking weekend, and actually kind of rejuvenating myself because
Mm-hmm.
it was a hectic week last week. But other than that, how was your weekend?
It was
Oh yeah.
not
Oh
very.
wait. Did we talk about on Friday? Did you have something that you
I did
wanted?
have plans. It did not turn out the way I was expecting, so I'm kind of glad I didn't go into it. So,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
I understand. That's what's up.
Well, another thing too is so I'm where I'm staying at. It's like really can't smoke bud around there.
Right.
I'm saying so I ain't smoke all fucking weekend, and I just hit the bowl, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I'm talking about. All right, I see now. Okay, so anyway, yeah,
What do
man.
you mean you see now?
See, I didn't smoke the whole weekend, and I just took one hit, and now I see why people smoke bud. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything gets better.
I feel you, bro. I feel you.
But
I
yeah,
think
but
everything gets normal.
smoking this right here, it ain't gonna get me on the street. I bet you that.
Yeah. I think everything gets normal for me.
That's
Uh
that's what I was about to say. Everything
yeah.
kinda gets to where I like it's normal.
I can feel more.
Interesting.
But I do
Yeah.
want to talk about something
Yeah,
today.
what up?
You gotta. I don't want to make a big deal about it, but I do want to talk about heavy metals in marijuana.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about too. That's one of my topics.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well
Mm-hmm.
shit. You here with the Think High crew. It's mindfulness mindset Monday. Let's get this bitch
Because
cracking.
you guys are always telling me that I should be doing it, but it's one of the highest toxicity plants that you can ingest or smoke to receive heavy metals.
Oh, me and you are gonna have a good discussion then.
All right.
Yeah, and by the way, nobody ever told you you need to smoke no damn weed. No,
No,
Consume it.
not I mean people have told me that, not
but
Okay.
necessarily
you said
you, but
we
Right.
are all telling you that's what you need to do.
well, you give me crap for not doing it.
we
So,
peer we
yeah.
kind of throw little peer pressure
Yeah.
jokes at you for it.
Same way that you tell me that I shouldn't.
No, I don't tell you that. You can do whatever you
Oh,
want
okay. Well, anyway,
and
um,
do.
we're gonna we're gonna find out
All
because
right.
like I know exactly what you're gonna say already, and I'm pretty sure you already know exactly what I'm gonna say, but nobody else does. And
Hmm.
Right.
so I think at the end of it, we'll both prove each other right.
Okay.
That's dope. I like the way you put that.
Yeah, because there's a right to it. You know what I mean? There is heavy metals in motherfucking marijuana,
Hmm.
but who's growing your shit? That's what
That's
it's
right.
about.
That's right.
Too.
So
Absolutely.
let's get
Well,
into
you would think though. Oh yeah, we can get right into that. If you want, we can start with the numbers and the stars and shit, and then we can get into some straight think high crew shit on this because I love the topic of cannabis. Because obviously it's a recent big topic as well, other than all the bullshit that's going on in the world, especially for motherfuckers in Ohio. So yeah, I would love to definitely get into that. But today's Monday, November the 13th, and you're back for another Mindfulness Monday where we get mindful shit out. We're gonna talk about all the shit that we normally don't talk about, and we're gonna get into some shit today. But I'll tell you today's vibe is gonna be of the four. You ask why? I'll tell you because in numerology, when you add up today's date, you get the number four. So today's focus will be like on the future. It'll be more about creating uh, a foundation for you to stand on or for you to expand on because a lot of us already got a lot of shit going. Thus, you'll want to pay attention to details and procedures. They'll be very important. There's also a focus on dedication and your atmosphere. You'll be more attentive in your atmosphere, and your peers around you also will feel that. So when you break it down, today's November the 13th. So a lot of people will use today as a 13. Some people break it down further and add the 1 plus the 3 to get a 4. So if we were to dive into the calendar day of the 13, contrary to a lot of us beliefs, there's really nothing really unlucky about the number 13, even if it does fall on Friday, which, by the way, Friday the 13th is when last month is when we minted out our NFT collections, which is dope. But there are some people who have like a phobia of the number 13, and at the end of the day, it's really just another fucking number. The only thing that makes 13 unlucky is the aversion to hard work. 13 might be a bit unconventional and take delight in creating a bit of disturbance, but it's not what you want to call innately or originally unlucky, or it's not unlucky because of the number. If it's unlucky, it's because whatever you're doing to protect that energy, through that and that has to do with your personal cycle number shit too. But 13 is another compound number, which is it takes the drive of one and the what you want to say, the Gregorianness. So Gregorian calendar is our calendar of 3, and the steadfastness of 4. It values tradition, and for the most part, but it's also kind of offbeat, just for the sake of seeing how everyone else will respond. It's a good day for focusing on getting things done and paying attention to detail. We spoke about that before, because 1 plus 3 is a 4, and I call the 4 the portal, 4 the door, the portal. And 4 will have some kind of stability with it, but it's not particular. And you're unlikely to see any accolades this day, but you can rest assured that if you tap into the diligence of this day, of the energy that it'll bring, you'll eventually see progress. So basically, you're going to be planting seeds. It's going to be another kind of a transformation thing. It's going to hurt, but at the same time, if you stay with it, you might not see any progress now, or nobody's clapping for you yet, but eventually it will. 4 doesn't really have any fluff or frills. It's kind of right up there with number 1 for tactlessness and stating the obvious. It isn't a day to be radical, but whenever possible, you just want to take that practical route. And how the energy, obviously, we always talk about, how it influences you will depend on your personal cycle number. But there is a potential to get a lot done. As we said, it's a focus on the future and building a foundation. And it wants to do it very efficiently too. So take control of that for, if you lose control and nervous energy, distractions and creep in, and then, shit's all fucked up. So stick with what's already established and what's familiar. There'll be other days to, to be explorative or to get out there. But it's for a day of, hard work, basically, diligence, keep your vision clear. Don't take too many chances, but make sure you focus on your future. And if depending on your personal cycle number, will depend on how you actually tackle that. But that is today the number 4, or for some 13 of November. To me, it's all the same. But if you want to dive into how you should effectively use today's vibration, then look no further than yourself.
Nice. Hey, before we get the stars, the planets, and the energies of astrology and this, right? I want to say this fun fact, and this is just a fun fact. We have never found a cave painting of a salad.
Okay.
Yeah, just a fun fact.
All right. Duly noted.
All
Oh
right,
yeah,
so you want to get into
pass
the
the ditchy to the right hand side today.
All right. I don't know what y'all are doing. I'm just here, so trying to stay up.
Stars. You got some stars and planets and
Yeah.
cards for us today?
So the moon is in Scorpio. We had a new moon, a balsamic new moon in Scorpio last night. at 2:37 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So this is officially, in my opinion, of course, the end of the year. This is it. This is where the old goes away and the new starts over. So if you want to go with the energy of astrology and the energy of the planets, this is the official astrological end of the year for me. That's how I approach it. That's how I teach it. So that's a good way to think of it, because we are kind of clearing out the old cobwebs, if you will.
Stepping into
So,
something new.
hmm
Okay, that's
all of yeah, a lot of the degrees of the planets right now are in third decan degrees, which means they're 20 degrees and higher. So we're in elevated learning stages for different things that are going on, especially in Scorpio energies. Um, you're gonna find secrets are gonna be a theme, throughout the remainder of the next week or two, especially highlighting, probably today and tomorrow are going to be big days where you find out things, or you put things together, that you weren't able to come up with. You could see information coming out on people's deaths that were not talked about. You could find, financial data leaking, things like
that's a
that.
good sign because
So
I got a lot of shit to design. And I've been having some creative blocks, so I need to go
yeah,
ahead and get yeah.
so So it's a good time for that. The chart in itself, if you're looking at it, is a little bit imbalanced. All the energies are to the left side, nothing is on the right side. And so you are going to be seeking balance. And what you want to do is do that slowly and carefully. You don't, want to move all your weight to the other side of the ship. You want to kind of, take it as
Move
it
it
take it
efficiently.
as it
Yeah.
goes. Yeah. So you want to take note of what's imbalanced and how much and what you can do about it. It's kind of a weird. It is a really weird spot right now because we have a lot of things that don't go together, and so what that creates is a little bit of
Example:
um,
holy war.
chaos. Mm-hmm.
Just an example,
Yeah.
and that shit does not go together.
No, 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 no. And I wanna delve a little bit more into that today. Um, but we have also the Taurus degrees, which is Uranus is in Taurus as well as Jupiter, and those are in like higher degrees as well. So you're gonna see things like earthquakes, volcanoes, shifts in things that are stable and or grounded. So the stuff in Iceland is, to me, perfectly normal. I mean, it's probably not fun for them, but it's to be expected when these types of things. Jupiter is the benefic planet that puts light and energy and or a higher percentage on it, so it's magnifying the Uranus and Taurus expert. So it's just you perfectly on point if you want my opinion. You will still find that people around you or people that you come in contact with might still be saying strange things, strange topics, coming up for discussion. Um, Very normal. It's that time of the year. So um, I don't know. Did you guys have like any anxiousness, or were you nervous, or have you had that feeling recently?
Yeah, I can attest to that. I feel like
I always
the
kind of feel that
initial.
way, honest with you, but I did a little more while I was out of town, but that's
Mm.
just me, you know what I
You
mean?
attribute it to being out of town.
Um, just sitting
Unfamiliar new
around,
environment.
you know what I mean? Right, and then going from like the slow life that I have to like
Yeah, that
city,
can be a little anxious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but you know,
No, I
Well,
feel it
coming
just
from
in general, like worldwide though. Just I think like
mm-hmm.
there's a level of anxiety that everyone has because it's kind of like what the fuck is really going on because a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people have reached that like what the fuck is
You're
is
gonna
really
have to
is
work
really going on.
harder to bring that down, like to bring that level down. So it is gonna take more work. And coming from somebody who's in high, high city, high uh, people areas, and
High
a lot of stuff
population,
going
yeah.
on all the time, it's even elevated for me which is really difficult sometimes for me and my body. So it's not comfortable. Um, that's just what I'm noticing. So I did pull a few cards. So I'm just going to quickly skim over those. We have the King of Wands. We want you to focus on entrepreneurial issues and ideas, leadership, creation, and timeliness. And then you'll see success in your projects. The Three of Cups is another card. This focuses on friendship, abundance, cooperation, communication, and the need to put in those efforts on those things so you can get them back in return. And then also the Seven of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles kind of talks about the fact that you have more than you realize, and you might be giving a value to certain things monetarily, but you have more than you're giving the value to. So to kind of reorganize your thoughts and give a correct assessment, if you will, to things that are maybe not monetary, people, your home, objects that you have, time if you have it. That is a huge thing that people don't ever quantify as something that they have. So it's a good time to collect those things. And if you are struggling financially, um, not to focus on what the struggle is, but also not to create like a toxic positivity thing where you really just go to the other side of the
That
way. Just kind of
kumbaya,
stay
that
in the middle. Yeah.
even though the house is on fire, I'll just pray
Mhm.
about it type of,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
that's not
stand
really
that.
it.
Yeah.
Talking
There's
about just
times and
trust the plan.
Mhm.
yeah, or that, how they be like, when
Yeah,
everything's
God, just
crumbling,
I'm
or
just
your
gonna get.
whole yeah, when your whole house is on fire, sit and meditate. Like, no,
Yeah,
bitch, get
no.
some water.
Mhm. You could see a higher focus on dreams, or spending time dreaming in a dream state, or having just different things happen. Synchronicities could be peaked. And when you are supposed to notice something, a lot of times you notice what's within eyesight of you. So it's a good time to look up and look down, and get a different perspective sometimes, so you can see all the things that you do have, and that they have value for you. So
That's what's up. I felt
Nice.
those
that.
are the cards I pulled. Did you guys have any
Nah, I can
questions?
agree with all of that. I got a little goosebumps. Like, oh yeah, she on point again, as always, for sure. And just on a personal note, that's definitely the whole fucking vibe. I know it's been similar, because as you know, the stars and planets, everything moves a little bit different than what you're saying. But I have been literally making sure I value my time a little bit more. No, because it was funny as hell. It was a realization I made because I told Nova on Thursday, right? I was like, "Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you are. We leaving this museum, because we took our kids to the Museum of Art in Cleveland on Thursday on one of our off days, and I was like, and I didn't realize that it was an off day. You know what I mean? So I'm telling Nova like, "Yo, I'm ready. We can get it." And he was like, "Bro, it's Thursday." He's like, "Take a fucking day off." I was like, "Shit, my bad, bro. I forgot." I just totally blending everything, from the anxiety of all the work and everything I've been, it's going on. Shit, the whole business the whole industry that I operate in is completely changing here where I'm at. So there has been, anxiety and shit like that, and so it's kind of all blended in. And Nova was like, "Bruh, chill out.
Mhm.
Take a day." He was like, "Bruh." His text message literally said, "Bruh, today is Thursday. Take a day off."
Mhm. At least he responds to your messages. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I was talking to him about some fucking work shit, that's what it was.
Uh,
And he was like, "Oh," he's like, "Bro, it's Thursday. I don't want to talk about no work shit."
all right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Are you insinuating that I don't respond to you or something?
Sometimes, yeah, I get a little on pause, but it's okay. It's all good.
Oh, well, shit. We talk every day, damn near. Say something right now. What's up?
It's all good. It's all good. It's
I
all
love
good.
it.
I'm just I want to remind everybody how powerful we are and how powerful we cannot be.
Right. True.
And so just check it out. Pink Eye Crew here
We
in
have
Power.
arrived here at Einstein Rosen Bridge, distributing knowledge in the village. Follow me, subspace frequency. Pass through the tesseract. Now it's 3D bio. Time to regain memories of the energies and frequencies. Go astral, then back to the universe. So we can learn to manifest eternally. You are more powerful than you know. Just open your eye and you will see. You will see.
Yeah. I went to the origins of this, connected my organs to planets, opened my forces with forces from planets, flow with the orbit to balance my zoomorphic canvas. I feel like a genius right now. I feel like I'm genius right now. It's bigger than Jesus right now. Fucking photons from the excess light to my third eye got me crystallized. Everything I visualize turned out. I be in this fucking prism like a symphony. Taste, color, make dreams in my crystal eye. Everything we ever learned was a lie. Marduk and Tiamat, may we collide. Spaces and spaces, dimensions get taken to places where only the truth can survive. Faces get taken, erased and replaced, where the only intention is living to die. Tell me what's the ticket on the LB? I got 21 grams in the pentagram, sitting like an Indian. That's how I gather all my energies. I was in this motherfucking Rain Man tripping. Geometrices all dripping out my brainstem. AM, I woke from the sound of the sun. I am fire and light, fire and light.
And I will not die because music is life. I am eternal, I'm vibrating light. Must find that balance to center these talents. Cause once I imagine shit's dropping through twice. Spitting this ether that burns through this creature. Drop knowledge through ether with flames from your speakers. Cause when you look deeper and see past the preachers, turn the pews into bleachers, man, something ain't right. Yeah. In a God eat God world, nigga don't pray on me. I'm not looking for your savior for the remedy. I can't believe that another nigga saving me, especially when that same nigga was sleep during slavery. I ain't seen a saved nigga that was really free, nor a paid nigga struggle for a plate to eat. So when you enter this realm, just know that nothing's free. Frequency purge, feeling the burn. You know it's the fire within. Vibration turn, waters are poured. Now watch all my alchemy begin. I'ma mix a little feelings in this pen. Got some fresh blood and some shrooms for the tank. I'm about to write about the truth, like Cook was in the booth, and we taking this love to the bank. They say we part 8, I guess they just saying we saying. I'm no longer playing. You fresh off the worship, keep praising these corpses. I vibrate these organs, keep building this fortress. I stay in infinite time, infinite rhyme, infinite life, infinite mind, infinite I. Infinite immortality and beyond, whose I'm in raw to the limitless.
It would seem theoretically first, meaning in logic, that the space, that time.
Okay, so not the whole song, but a good part of it. And the ending right there, that last part that y'all heard about this song, it kind of reminds me of what I experienced this weekend with learning more and more about King Tut, right? And also learning that, and just realizing that there's more evidence that King Tut existed than Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
wow.
And this has got to be a problem, right? Because I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, but this is a problem. If the majority of our lives have been decided on what we're going to do or how we're going to be looked at or because of a person named Jesus Christ. And I'm not saying that he didn't exist, but what I'm saying is there's no physical evidence as far as there is on King Tut. And King Tut is much older and was preserved much better than, like, I don't even know how to explain what I'm trying to say right now, other than this is mind-blowing when you really think about that. We believe, or okay, society, not me, but we as a society believe in a person, and I'm not talking about everybody because everybody doesn't believe, right? But everybody kind of goes along with this whole story of, and where's the proof?
Right. It,
And I guess the way that they get out of the proof is that saying that that Jesus rose from the dead. So that means his physical body rose from the dead, or just his spirit. And so if it's his physical body that rose, then you can't prove it anyway. So that's kind of how I look at it. And I hate to sound mean or whatever about it, but I just got to question the shit. And maybe we don't make the whole episode about it, but I had to say that because of that into that song, Infinite Time. That's what the Egyptians believed in. And that's also what a Christian believes in, if they're good. If they're good, they're going to have infinite awesomeness. If they're bad, they're going to have infinite horribleness. And those might not even be great words to describe it, but that's just how I'm going to say it. So anyway, I don't know,
nah,
man.
man.
Just, I mean, it's like, it's like, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but like, God dog, we got more fucking evidence that King Tut and his grandfather existed than Jesus.
We have
And
more
his folks.
evidence.
Where's his
We
folks
have
at?
we have more evidence that it's a whole conspiracy to trick mankind than we have of the actual existence. I get exactly what you're saying, bro. Like there's more proof that there was something else happening that got hijacked. The information got hijacked. Like it's always been an information like war amongst humans. You know what I mean? To gather and have the information and to destroy information that contradicts everything, you know, that they need to control the rest of the species. And when I say they, I mean we can obviously we know we who we're talking about. You know what I mean? We don't have to play dumb anymore about that shit. But I
Well,
think
that
yeah,
that
go
group
ahead.
of people was super focused on leaving a legacy and making sure that people knew what they were doing, why they were doing it, how they were doing it. Now we have had a problem
What a lot of
interpreting that information and understanding what they're trying to tell us, but they spent lots of time and lots of energy and lots of money to try to leave us those blueprints, if you will.
mm-hmm.
So you have to look at, pound for pound, what was their effort
Right,
going going to leave all of that information.
right. And the information that they couldn't delete or couldn't change was like, you know, written on shit that you can't fucking destroy that easily. You know what I mean?
The
And then you
DNA
find
in
out,
their bodies too.
yeah, that too,
Yeah,
right?
I was about to get into that. The all the different types of scientific ways that they have, through light, through radar, through different
Bro,
scans of DNA, all this
if you
different stuff.
if you
And
if
it's,
it our
yeah,
DNA,
I'm
if
just,
you break down our DNA, it literally says I am God in our DNA. Like through man, this whole dude took our DNA and he broke the shit down with the chromosomes. He looked at the chromosomes of the DNA and it matched up to the letters of like an ancient um language. I can't
The
remember which one.
codex. The codex.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There it
Yeah.
is. She knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, it was their own language. They had specific ways of dealing with
Right,
water and water, transformation and getting it from one place to another and
right.
keeping it clean and um, ways that we here in North America couldn't figure out till just not too long ago. So
Right.
they were very advanced. But then you have to ask yourself, where was that advanced knowledge coming from? Was
Right.
it always just coming from the person that was, living on the
It
planet?
seemed like there's like a lot of people, a lot of the people they were going from within. You know what I mean? And then when they're writing shit from within, and then we interpret it from the outside, it just makes it like I said, made it like a crazy game of telephone. Because how do you let Horus exist? How do you let Dionysus
What
still
about
Osiris.
exist?
Toth?
Yeah,
Toth,
how do you let any of that information still exist if you need everybody to believe in Jesus? And then when people go back and look at Horus's story, it's the same thing as Jesus's. and then
When
so
then
it
who?
was
But then who's
Dionysus.
Osiris in that though? You see
Yeah,
what I
well,
mean? Like
that's
Osiris is like bro, man, it's just so fresh on my brain right now. Holy fuck!
no, it's okay, bro. I feel it, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Because of your recent experience down there, and you're absolutely right. Because it's
And I
I don't know.
mean, I'm not here to try to prove one thing or another.
No,
I'm just here to
no,
say exactly what I said. Like, holy shit! Like, we really need to, like, as a society, slow down. We're not, but we need to slow down and be like, what do we know about everything that we believe in? And then what we know, let's check up on it and see how much fucking sense it makes. But now, as an adult,
Right.
other than when we were 3 fucking years old
Well,
right.
and
and
6
they've
years old and 8
they've
years
taught
old.
you to believe in a feeling as a belief system,
And that
and
ain't, and you're exactly right about that.
that
And
is
that's
not
fucked
necessarily
up.
how it works, especially
No.
from a religious perspective. You know,
Mm-mm.
you feel something when you're in church, or you feel the spirit, or you feel better, or you feel happy. Well, that's all fine and dandy, and you can feel anything you should
Right.
feel anything, but that doesn't necessarily
But
mean
you
your
feel
belief
that
is
same
true.
way at a concert though.
You can
Yep.
feel
You know what
that
I
same
mean?
way at a concert. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You can
Well,
feel
you
that
can feel
same
that
way
same.
when you're going for a job. You can feel that
Shit, when
same
just
way when
somebody
you're
say some real shit to you and
hmm
that resonates enough, it'll fucking goddamn make you have that feeling. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's what helped me realize when I was in the church. I was like, man, I'm having more of these type of feelings outside of the church than I am
And
inside
this is
inside of
perfect
it.
too, because check it out. Every one of us talking right now had a background or has a background in being brought up in a certain type of religion.
They have.
And we realized that something ain't right.
I realized that at starting at age 8, I was like, this does not make sense. What are they talking about? These things are not adding up.
Yeah, I didn't realize it at 8. I mean, shit, at 8, I was going door to door, knocking on your motherfucking door on the weekends, Jehovah's Witness,
Mm-hmm.
getting cussed out.
Yeah, when
But
I was 8, I
you know,
was like when the time I went to church, like,
I'm out there in a damn suit, walking around as a little kid. Should have been playing and doing whatever, but I'm out there walking around in a motherfucking
I was
suit
sleep. I slept
in
through
some
church.
uncomfortable ass shoes.
My mom would even just let me lay on her lap, and when I was 8, I used to sleep through that shit. I never
And the
fucking
reason
really.
she let you do that is because you were there physically, and she believed that even though you were asleep, you were perceiving much of that information through your brain.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, so like at the Kingdom Hall for Jehovah's Witnesses, where what I was doing is I was in there drawing pictures. I had a notepad and a pen, and that was to shut me the fuck up. And so I would sit there and not whatever. You know what I mean? And I think about that now, and I'm like, man, how different am I to my parents that I see through that and they didn't?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is going on here? Like, what?
We had our parents made us quiet bags, and it had all kind of activities in it, 6 or 7 different ones, and they all you couldn't use them unless you were quiet. Couldn't touch the book. You couldn't get the paper and
Jehovah's Witness do that
Yeah.
same shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cult thing.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah,
the cults
my
do
mom
that.
ain't really have nothing to do that with, man. I was more scared that she might chop me in the throat if I was being, you know what I'm saying? But,
Right? Yeah.
but that was like, hey, you better chill the fuck out before you get fucked up in here. You know what I mean? Like, it's God.
And that would have been totally acceptable in the Kingdom Hall. Like, Jehovah's Witnesses would have loved to see a mom chop the motherfucker in the throat. Like, yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah,
because that's how it's weird like
I think
that.
that if you want to break down the whole thing, you know what I mean? Like, I think the answers are like kind of right in front of us a lot of times. Like, even in these holy books and religions, it says the greatest trick the devil ever played on humanity is convincing them that he is God. Right.
And also the greater trick is giving a definition of the devil, which may or may not be whole in nature. So you have a definition in your mind. He has a definition in his mind. I may have a different definition. We're not talking about the same thing.
Facts. But the thing of that is, like, I was, just zooming out on the shit. You know what I mean? If the greatest trick ever played, ed, the translation is past tense. You see what I'm saying? The greatest trick the devil ever played on humanity was tricking them that he was God. So like the whole time that I was, been researching all of this type of shit, I'm just thinking like, if that was the case, if so, he executed this. It's not like that. It wasn't the greatest trick he attempted. It wasn't the greatest trick. So quote unquote, you know what I mean? That might have happened. It was the greatest trick that he played and got away with it. And then when you look at the situation like that, then the people who are you actually praying to now? You know what I mean?
Well,
So
what's funny for me is you keep saying trick, trick, trick. I grew up where if you brought up God or talked about God, it was a joke. It was not believed at all. And it was a trick. And it was completely hilarious and
that's
stupid.
crazy.
I was raised atheist. I was raised science, everything. So if you're talking about God, you're talking about a fantasy character, you're talking about a mythical
Right.
person. So it's different to hear y'all's perspectives.
Well, I mean,
Growing up
I
and
think
thinking like
initially
that.
though, it's like that. They want you, no matter what it is, even even like atheists, like they want you to believe. Well, most of them want you to believe. Besides atheists, most of them want you to believe that there's an outside entity that's in
I
control of
think they
all of
want
this.
you scared. I think they want you in fear. That's how it
For
was
sure.
portrayed to me.
I was taught that you just die and turn into dirt and everything goes black. That's what I grew up with, knowing. But intuitively, I still prayed. I was not taught how to pray. I was never in a church with both my parents at the same time. I've never gone to a church service with either one of my parents. I intuitively knew to pray. I intuitively looked to something, even though I was told my whole life that there is
My
nothing
whole
to look
question
to. And the
when
joke.
I ran into atheists was like, I always used to ask them. So you say, they say the same thing you say. You see, it fades to black. Everything goes black. So it's like if you're saying that everything goes black, then how do you know that it goes black if you're not conscious
I
after
always
you
thought the
die?
same thing. I always thought the same thing. I'm like, it won't go black. It'll just, you won't see anything. You know
Right.
what I
There will
mean?
be
And
nothing.
which I
There'll be
guess to
nothing, right?
them maybe is what they, right. There would be nothing, right? But maybe that's what they
But
mean
black is
by it just
something.
goes black. That's how I always felt about it. And I wasn't taught any differently, but that's intuitively how I felt about it.
Yeah, that's the question that I would always kind of ask, and I'd be like, but black is something. So you just fade the black, like, but black is something that's still an accumulation, or not necessarily something. It's like the accumulation of all the colors. So it's like it's just the absence of light. You know what I mean, or whatever the fuck, however
But
you want to describe it.
I don't
but
think
don't
their
you
minds are, go ahead,
but
Megawatt.
I was just going to say, but don't you think that like it freed them from having to come up with a theory
Yes,
and
but
a
it
thought
also
process to
it also
explain
gave them less accountability.
hmm to
um
doing
it,
things that you're not supposed to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
consciously, to saying like, that's like you're saying we don't even have a consciousness. So this consciousness that we have, you know what I mean, and in things that we can't explain,
I
like
think
when, go ahead.
I thought my bad, bro, but I know I interrupted you.
It's okay.
I'm trying to stop that. But
I
I'm
ain't
gonna go
mad.
ahead and do it anyway because I already did it, right?
I
So
love you too.
but yeah, exactly. So but maybe it's pressure from society because society says that there is God, right? And so
Hmm.
for a parent that's raising a child that's going to school with other kids to talk about God, maybe it's pressure on that child, that parent, to just come up with something so they don't look
hmm
fucking clueless.
It
Yeah.
is. But a lot of these people that and I met quite a few of them over the last few years. It was kind of interesting. I would ask them, "Okay, so you know, you're here, you're having a human experience, you don't know why, there's no reason for it. You're having children, you have a family, you know, all these different things, and you can't, there's no theme or theory to this information. But they would have experiences that can't be explained, like listening to music, even at a concert or whatever, and having like whole body goosebumps all over you because the music was just so, you know, so beautiful, or you resonated with it, you know, so much. And it's like that's a consciousness thing. That's a stream of consciousness where you're interacting with music or art or, you know, something that you love, a pet. That doesn't make sense if you think about it. If things are an atheist
Right.
description, none of
Well, I
those
think a
things make
lot
any
of people
sense.
haven't experienced a lot of things that certain people have. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's not an excuse to just abandon or to just leave out the consciousness of, or the awareness of,
The
that there is
possibility.
something. Yeah, that there is. That's being naive to think that there's no possibility of what these people speak of, what, regardless of the detailed information that we humans like to argue and
I have
bicker about.
I have a psychic friend who was adopted, and her parents, the dad was something to do with a science, you know, job or something, and the mom was a stay-at-home mom, and they believed the same thing. And as soon as she knew she was adopted, she began to feel more comfortable with the theory that she did believe in something else, and she did know that what was happening to her was, you know, something other than what they could explain. They thought she was crazy. They wanted to have her on medications, but really she was just experiencing her gifts and her senses, and she knew that they didn't know what they were talking about at 7 and 8 and 9 years old, you know. And she she just had to go with her gut because what they were saying made absolutely no
And it's
sense to her,
wild.
and she prayed as
And
well.
it's wild, like when you people who are willing to, or have seen some shit that they like. All right, if you ever seen a human expire or take their last breath, like watched it, you know what I mean, like seen them being okay, breathing normally, heart, everything's normal, and then boom, you know what I'm saying, they're literally, you're watching them take their last breath. Like, it's a lot of people don't experience that through their whole entire life, you know what I mean, but like people who have experienced that type of shit, you know what I mean, hand to hand, face to face, can tell you there's something. I don't give a fuck what nobody said. You know what I mean? And it's hard to explain to somebody
Almost all hospice nurses will tell you that too.
yeah.
Um, all the experiences they've seen or
Hospital
how
folks too. Yeah.
similar. Yeah, people who just work in the hospital, but it's like hospice, they deal with it, daily, constantly. That's their main thing, is just going through the death process. So it's like they see the same patterns. And when you see patterns, that's when it gets hard to be like,
The life is
no,
about,
that's not true.
yeah, the life is about patterns. Like, if you like, like what it fucking, what's the name say? If you want to understand, you understand life, this life, then you want to understand frequencies and shit like that. Was Tesla. I can't remember the exact quote that he fucking said, but those are all the subtle things. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he
That
based his whole work was based on frequencies. That's
right.
everything that
And
he
frequencies have to have a pattern, because that's
mhm.
just how it fucking moves. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
vibration. There's when you look at waves, that's why I love music. When you look at sound waves, like it moves, it's the frequency of your voice. Literally, you're looking at it. You're looking at the pattern, and there's a pattern in it. You know what I
But
mean?
people don't get to those thought processes and research those things until they have a reason or
Mhm.
an issue or some kind of a hard
So
life
with the
thing that
hospices,
happens.
seeing the patterns in people's death, you know what I mean? I seen a pattern in just the two people that I've watched die. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, and as a child growing up, I seen a pattern. You know what I mean? It was weird. I analyzed it, both situations, and was like, what was the same and what was different? And both times they were almost identical. You know what I mean? The overwhelming feeling of time being extremely fucking slow, the fucking them looking at something. They see something. There's
Mm-hmm.
something that they
They're
all
identifying something.
look at. I'm telling you, they're doing one thing. My grandmother was watching television, and then something. She looked up like something caught her eye. Like, what the fuck is that? And then time slow, boom. Last breath was fucking taken, and it wasn't even. It's not like a last breath. It's almost like a sigh of fucking relief. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you ever fucking make that sigh of fuck like, yes, mission complete, and that fucking sigh you give out like, like that's what it sounds like. And
Did any of you have a chance? Sorry, Jason,
okay,
to see the movie After Death? Came out
mm-mm.
on the 28th of October.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's a really interesting movie. It goes through a bunch of people's near-death experiences, and it's very cool.
Yeah,
You should.
I've read a lot about near death experiences and the patterns between them and people, and how they've compared them. There's a couple documentaries that compare them to psychedelic
Mm-hmm. Sure.
breakthroughs and
It's the
shit like that.
closest thing you can compare them
Right,
to. Yeah.
right, absolutely. And it was just all of it's very similar. You know what I mean? There was a woman that I read about, and it was crazy because I had to do a lot of research on this because it was in Spanish, so I had to find like the translation videos and to find the translation of the articles and then all that shit. So I did a lot of work on this one lady out of Mexico who was in a coma, and she was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I guess, of death and life. You know what I mean? And I read her book, well, most of it, that is, you could tell it was kind of written by somebody who was just trying to explain what the fuck she saw. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a tough read, but I can't remember the name. If I find the links, I'll share them. But it happened. There was a lady in Mexico. She was in a coma, and she was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and she basically when she came back into her body, you know what I mean? Like, she understood a whole bunch of shit. It was wild because all the testimonies from the doctors and the nurses around her, because when she was in that coma, and she was only in a coma for like 18, 21 hours. I don't even think it was a full 24 hours. She was only in a coma for some hours, but the whole time she was there in the coma, when she came out of the coma, she told the doctors exactly what everything they did, what they wore, what everybody had on. She's like, I could see everything where she was at. You know what I mean? And this is like, who knows if she's telling the truth or not, or if she was just pulling a whole, you know what I mean, whatever publicity stunt. But you know what I mean. At the same time, how she explained everything was so vivid, and her witnesses were like, there's no way she could have known that we did this and did that. She was in a coma. How does she know that this is what happened at this time? You know what I mean? How does she know that I spoke to her father and her mother,
Absolutely.
and I said this and that? So like
I
that's what got me was
had an out of body experience during a surgery, and it wasn't a near death experience, but it was an out of body experience where I knew things that I shouldn't have known, and the doctor was pissed. He was livid because he did something that I asked him not to do specifically.
oh
Hey,
Some bodies.
how you doing? You said that your phone was about to die, and I can't pronounce your name, and I don't want to butcher it. So you can tell us how to pronounce your name if you want. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I need to appreciate you people. Thank you very much for being here. It's a privilege to be part of you.
Well,
My name is Mwesgwa. Mwesgwa means trust.
trust. Okay.
Trust, yeah. Mwesgwa Ivan Gideon. Mwesgwa Ivan Gideon. I've got 3 names.
me too.
I'm calling from you too. That's grateful. It's a privilege.
So were
I'm
you
from
were you
Uganda.
Uganda? Okay.
I'm from Uganda, Africa. And I like the topic. When I saw Think High Crew, to me, I was like, I have to be part of the Think High Crew. And I believe I'll be joining, I'll be coming to ensure that I learn more and to ensure that I stretch more of my mind to understanding.
That's what's up, man. That's what it's about. It's not necessarily about smoking or cannabis. Marijuana is a word that's been attached to it, but it's not even what it is, cannabis. But it's not just about smoking cannabis, right? It's about thinking outside of the box, thinking for ourselves, and reaching out to people like you and you reaching out to us from across the world. And we really can find out what's really going on and not just what's going on that we are supposed to know. You know what I mean? And so we'd love to have you, bro. Anytime you want to come up in this thing, man, just come on and talk with us.
So, did you have something you wanted to add to the topic, Trust?
Yeah.
Beg your pardon?
Did you have something that you a comment, or did you want to add to the topic of what we were talking about with when it comes to God and outside deities, or you were just listening?
Okay, I like the topic so much because when you were speaking about God, actually, just as using my image is, I'm a born again Christian. And I'm in ministry. We speak more of God. We speak more of God. We speak more of God everywhere. We speak God. But I was just listening and I liked the show.
Thank you very much.
Only that, yeah, it was a great one. It was a great one. It was a perfect one. Maybe it is when I heard a statement. I think she was T. She said like, this character of bringing up the young children from when they are young, when they are speaking about God, when they're made to grow up from the church. I felt like commenting about that statement from the view of the African culture, the Ugandan culture. In most cases, you come to realize that if a family, for example, if a family is a born again family, you come to realize that most of the people in most of the different families, it's very hard for a child to decide where to go for fellowship. It is very hard for the child to decide whether he's going to worship from the mosque or from the church. In most cases, children are brought up by their families and the charity begins at home. So you identify that someone just grows when it is led in that direction. Why? That's how she has been brought up. That's how he has been brought up. And you identify that there are certain families which look like quite they're somehow disorganized. I can say something of the sort. How? You may identify that the father is of a different religion and the mother too is of a different religion. So when these people come together into marriage, you find, for example, the mother may be a born again Christian or a Catholic or a Protestant, but when the father is a Muslim. So when you bring these two people into marriage to live in unity, to be one people, you realize that when it comes to the children, in such families, you identify that you find children of various beliefs. How? You may find that this one is following the father and the other one is following mom. So you find a mixed family with the various types of worship in it. So when T was like, I didn't go much in the church. I don't know whether I misheard it, I misperceived it, but I think she was like, I didn't go much in church, like with my parents, they were telling it to me.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
it like
I
that?
grew up, we did not go to church. Church was a joke. Church was a mythical place for people to waste their time on Sundays. Like that's what I was taught growing up. So yes, you're correct.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to speak. That's what I wanted to comment about. And finally, only that my battery is too low. But I liked you so much. It's a privilege to speak to people. I
Thank
request
you.
I make you to be my friends. You make me to be your friends whenever I come online, because the only chance of speaking to you, is via this online. So I request you give me the chance of speaking to you, and I'll be coming on to listen. I'm someone who likes learning a lot.
Awesome.
And whenever you want to learn, you have to listen.
Awesome.
Then by that, after learning, I'll be able to speak back. But it's a great privilege. Thanks for the hot
Thank
welcome.
you.
No, thank you for sure. That's what it's all about. Mindset, Mindfulness Monday. Appreciate
Yeah, man. I don't know exactly what time it is there where you're at, but we Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, we do at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we go on. And we usually go for about 2 hours. So you're more than welcome to come anytime. And if you want to give me your email address, I can send you email invites. It'd be cool to have somebody from Africa that was on, a decent amount. We have someone from South Africa that's on a lot, but not anybody from the area you're in. So that would be cool. And if you can stop in,
Put it in the chat.
come chat with us.
Yeah, he put his email in the chat.
Thank you. I'm gonna call you Trust because I don't want to mess your name up.
I was going to say the same thing. See you later, Trust.
Man, down here is my email. I've sent my email in the messages. mig26inter@gmail.com is my email.
Awesome. We got you.
All right. Yeah.
Uganda.
Gotcha. And
Uganda.
just to let you know, so if you want to, you can go back and listen to the beginning of this. But just to give you a real quick, I started the show off by saying and this is nothing against anything, but I said as a society, we have more physical evidence that King Tut existed than we do Jesus Christ. And I said, I think as a society, that's a problem because of how much influence just saying Jesus Christ has on society in general. But the actual physical isn't there like King Tut, but King Tut is way, quote unquote, way older than Jesus Christ. And so maybe, like if there was more physical evidence, then people might believe more, correct? So that's kind of where we were at. And, we hadn't really even got there yet, but that's where we were going to kind of go today and then talk about some other stuff. But just letting you know, that's what we were at.
Yes, sir. And everybody was giving their opinion on it. I think that it's a topic that's taboo to a lot of people because obviously everybody has their fixed what you want
Belief
to say
system.
fixed belief systems that they've confided
And
into.
and like you said, Trust, and like everybody agreed with. And as a kid, you're brought up by your parents
Right.
or your family, whoever's raising you.
See, what's
And so
crazy,
there's where you get a lot of your, belief
you
system
was
from.
forced to knock on doors as a Jehovah's Witness. T was an atheist. You know what I mean? I was brought up in like the Baptist church where they was catching Holy Ghosts and all of that.
And see, my
And
mom was brought up Pentecostal, like she be doing the snake stuff, bro. And I think a lot of maybe that's how it is in Uganda. I'm not sure.
well,
But
but my mom
I-
didn't she didn't force anything on me.
I
You
think
know
there's
what I mean?
like a Pentecostal vibe or something. Trust, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there might be like if you look at the Pentecostal side of Christianity in the church, right? The drinking of different crazy poisons and handling snakes and stuff like that is a part
Yeah,
of
it's called serpent worship.
their
It's
service.
called serpent worship. Yeah.
Right.
hmm
So is that prevalent in Uganda? Does that go on in Uganda or in Africa at all? Trust, like, is that a thing or no?
Yeah, actually, have given me a very nice question and a very big platform. Let me first become happy because I like being happy. I'm a Pentecost too. And actually, when you speak of Jesus, when you read the Bible, Jesus Christ was prophesied by a lot of prophets in the Old Testament, and they were waiting for him. The right biblical word, it is called incarnation. incarnation, something like incarnation, like the coming of God. Jesus is God Himself coming to us in the image of man. So He comes to be like us. He comes to live like us. He comes to eat like us. He comes to sleep like us. He comes to behave like us. Now, when Jesus comes, remember, Jesus came with a mission. He didn't just come, He came with a mission. And depending on the Pentecost teaching, depending on the biblical teaching. So when He comes with this mission, for this mission to be fulfilled, He had to face all that He faced. I'm trying to cut the story short. But whatever He faced, He reaches a time and He was like, you know it very well that we all fell short of God's glory. When you
Right.
look at the story, when you look at the story of creation, when Adam and Eve sinned, when they ate the forbidden fruit, all that, man lost dominion over the Garden of Eden. We lost dominion, we lost power, we lost authority, we lost that relationship with God. So from then up to when Jesus came, men were misbehaving. God had not united back with man, with that real love, with that intimacy, whereby God would just walk and go and visit man and ask him, how are you doing? Men started fearing God. It's like we became more of enemies of God. So remember, God is love. He's the one who created us. He seeks for ways of how He can show us love, because He's love. He cannot hate us. Why? Remember, we were created in His own image. The Bible says we were created in His own image and in His own likeness. So He cannot hate us, though He can do it. So the best thing He does is to look for a solution of how He can pull us from the powers of no authority to bring us into the first position where He had established us before sinning.
So I have
Now, this is what happens.
a question for you though. So to you and your belief, no disrespect to your belief or anything, trust. You believe Jesus lives.
Actually, you have asked that it's almost the same question. I do believe, and it brings us to the first question, which was asked about, the taking poison or the things. Jesus says, the Bible says, when you believe me, then the signs shall follow those who believe. There are signs that follow believers, but it doesn't mean that it is a must. You must do it because these signs are going to follow you. Which signs follow believers? Like how He said, taking a poison. It's very possible to drink poison and you don't die. It is very possible to step on the serpents and they don't bite you up. But what the Bible means is, the Bible means the powers of darkness. When the Bible speaks of you will handle snakes with your hands, we read the Bible with a revelation. When we read the Bible just like how it is written, it may not make sense. But what makes sense is to read the word, to read the Bible, and then you get the revelation from God. So it is true.
Let
It
me
is
ask you this: Are
happening.
you
It is happening in
familiar?
Uganda.
Are you okay? And seeing like you being from Africa, the reason why I'm asking this is because I feel like there's a lot more information there in Africa, and I think like so. Are you familiar with Horus's story? Right? You familiar with the Horus? He was a god of one of the Egyptian gods per se.
Actually, when you make that study, he was a Jew. Because remember, he came as a man. He came like a physical person.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if are you familiar with Horus's story? It's the exact same as Jesus' story, and he existed almost about 1,600 years before Jesus existed. and his story is the exact same. Horus was born of a virgin. He was supposed to be the incarnation of God. He did miracles. He had 12 disciples. He was crucified and rose again in 3 days. Everything that Jesus did, literally Horus did 1600 years before him. So is it possible that the story of Jesus and the religions, based upon these stories, you know what I mean, are they just a copycat story from another story? Is that possible? I mean, because if Horus existed before Jesus and he has the same exact story, wouldn't that be just the colonization of whoever's taken over, just changing the information to fit their benefits? So, my question, basically is, how do we know any of this is true if there's multiple stories? There was at least 13 different Jesuses before Jesus existed, or is that just the reincarnation of Jesus over and over again to try to come back? So there's many things and many belief systems that have different, structures to it. I think that there's a disconnect between it all because we feel like this is something that's outside of us. And so we create, with our human minds, we try to fathom something that's unfathomable.
And it doesn't necessarily go to like try to prove anything.
No, it's just questions.
Wrong.
Thinking high, man. That's a
It's just yeah, exactly. It's questions of why has certain knowledge not been put out as much as other knowledge has. You know what I mean? And then why do we as human beings, like T was saying, as a child, she was raised atheist, not to believe in God or to believe God was a fairy tale. But deep down inside of her, even though she was raised by atheist parents, she still felt like there was something more
because
than just
we can't,
dying and
with
that's
all
it.
the different
And so,
amounts of information, none of us can surely say. To me, it would be naive for us as humans, and with the collective consciousness that we've gained and all of the knowledge, it would be naive to say that one is right and one is wrong. What we should be saying is, we don't know, but what we do know is that there is something more to this death thing, besides what we are being told about. And that is, if you're looking at it even scientifically, religiously, in society,
spiritually,
no matter how you want to, look at it, you know what I mean? You can be like,
even like on
a
just a straight metaphysical level, like,
yeah, like it's okay to not know, but we know that there's something though. There's something. Maybe I can't explain it. You know what I mean? But if we, with all the knowledge of the birth of the human origin, like even if we go back as far as we can to the ancient Sumerians, who were the first humans to write, supposedly, okay? But how do we know that's even correct? But you know what I mean? It's just all information that we're being given, and then we have to assimilate it for ourselves into what's, real, I guess, and what's not real. But I guess that's where the issue comes in, because everybody is coming from a different perspective. And this is what I would say to everybody. My perspective is this: with all the religious practices that I've tried, with all the different things and information that I've dove into unbiasedly, I've consumed it all on equal level, just so that I didn't have emotions involved. I've read the Satanic Bible. I've read the Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. I've read the Holy Bible. I've read all types of Holy Bibles. There's so many of those. So what I've gathered is, if I were to guess, or if I were to give you my assumption, of the origin of this shit, it would be that we are what we would say is God expressing ourselves as humans. Because, and I say that because a knife cannot cut itself. If you were the knife, how do you cut yourself? If you are the eye, how do you see yourself? The only way to see and to understand that type of shit is to reflect and have multiple mirrors to be able to reflect all angles of yourself. So that's, and that right there is some shit that I can't even fully explain to you. You know, that's just what I've come up with based on all of the information that I've consumed. Because if we wanted to do godly things as a people, as a humans, we could do them tomorrow. If we all
Right.
decided to feed everybody, we could do that tomorrow. If we all decided to house everybody, we could do that tomorrow. There shouldn't be nobody who has the ability to have heaven on earth while millions of other people have to wait for theirs. And that's just
Yeah, for real. Hey,
where
Trust,
I'm.
I got a question just because it's our first time talking to you. What version of the Bible is the most prevalent in your area or in just Africa? I mean, I don't mean that as a smart ass. I'm just trying to figure out you and you know, because I
I like
felt
that.
you. When you came in, I felt your energy. That's why I brought up the Pentecostal thing. And then
I also
bam,
feel the
you
energy
said
with the
you was,
Lord.
and then you said you was Pentecostal. So like, I brought it up just because I didn't want to dump it in there and make it seem like I was singling you out. But I don't know, man. I just felt it. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But so like, what part of the Bible or what version of the Bible is most prevalent in your area or in Africa in general? Whatever. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's a great
Because I
question.
know
I'm going
Africa is
to.
fucking huge, bro. So like, when I say like Africa, like it's really hard for me to even say that. That's why I'm saying like your area, because I know Africa is like so big and then there's so many different types of Africans. And I know
Yeah,
that sounds weird to say, but it is true. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
but yeah, go ahead, bro. Yeah. What kind of Bible you got?
Okay. Yeah, I've got two questions to answer right now. I've got two questions to answer. And let me just give my perception about what, before I answer that, my perception about what Johnson was speaking about. I think the reason as why it's very hard to put away this knowledge, it's very hard to put away this knowledge that it has stayed for many years, but you see it is consuming. There have to be a reason. I think that reason it has to be because it's from God. You know, you can stop men, you can stop your fellow human being, but you can't stop God. I think the reason is because it is godly. You know, this God, the creator of the universe, has got a power to move himself. So if it is godly, then it has to move itself. Do you know that Jesus had a lot of resistances? Plus all the prophets, the prophets of the Bible, they had a lot of resistances. But you know, they conquered. No wonder even in our generation, though we are like we are
I got a
out.
question, Trust. I got to ask you what you just said. You said if it's going to move itself, it has to be godly.
Yeah.
Hey, I agree.
Yes.
If you don't have
Yes.
any money driven reason or whatever power driven reason for something to continue to be in people's heads of what is, or hearts or souls of what is going on, or I feel the certain way, I agree right there. I agree with you.
That's great. That's great. And I think though we are like we are out of the date, though we are like we are out of that knowledge, though we are like we belong to a certain generation, but since we belong to another generation, but we share the other old move, then you just can't identify it The move is crashing even in our generation. It will even crash in the next generation. It will even crash in the after the generation. Why is it crashing it on like that? It's because God is after mission, and for us we know that we believe Jesus is coming back soon. So until when he comes back soon, we believe in eternity. Some of us believe in eternity. I don't know whether you two believe in eternity, but when we are starting like the religious education here in Uganda, in Africa, there is a certain topic which says death, life after death, life after death. So there is that eternity. I think God is pursuing this eternity in that after the world has ended, we shall have that eternity. That's why we can't take it away because it is godly. You can't sort yourself, you can't sort God away. God can sort you away. In other words, God can take you off. You can lose oxygen and die, but you can't get God's oxygen and take it away because He's God. So this has to progress. That's
Yeah,
my
but
perception about
see the
it.
thing, I used to have that same perception. The problem with that perception is I've se- I've seen some shit, okay, and I know there's people that I know that have been uh uh wrongfully done. Put it like this, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I seen a guy flat out smack the shit out of a fucking pastor and tell him, if your God is real, have him stop me from smacking you again.
Mm.
And his God never stopped him from being assaulted. So, and some people will say, well, God works in mysterious ways, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Jesus teaches people to turn the other cheek, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it baffled the shit out of me, just because if he thought that he, instead of thinking God was an outside of himself, right? If the
Yeah.
pastor didn't think God was outside of himself, if he because the Bible tells you that God is within, so the kingdom of heaven is within, so to search for me from within. So if he felt that way, wouldn't he have stopped the guy from smacking him himself? You know what I mean? Because but
But
people
he could
think
just
that
be
we're,
turning the other cheek, though. And I
yeah,
know
he
that's
could just be
I
turning
know
it.
that doesn't. I know the Bible doesn't mean like you're getting slapped, turn the other cheek, and get slapped again. But it's a metaphor. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I know it's a
so just
metaphor.
some comedy in
Yeah,
Right.
there.
that's true.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just in general, because like I understand his perception, like, and I feel like when it comes to that type of shit, you know what I'm saying? Like there is nobody that is going to come and save you. It's the God within you that has to save yourself. You know what I mean? Like that's just how I'm looking at it, because it doesn't make any sense to me to think that an invisible entity from above is going to stop this guy from causing me harm in any sort of way. Like the power is either I allow it or I don't. You know what I mean? So that's where the choice is. And people say God gave us free will to choose, and shit like that. So it's like, okay, if that's the case, then what aren't isn't a child of a god a demigod? No?
You have taken me to this point here, like, you have reminded me of another point where the Bible says, like, if it's your hand that is causing you to sin, then cut it off. And if it's
Yeah.
your eyes that are causing you to sin, then pluck them out.
Pluck him out.
You rather
Yeah.
remain with one eye than having two eyes. You rather remain with one hand than having two hands. And if it's your leg that is, if the legs that are causing you to sin, then cut them off. You have reminded me of that whatever. But ever since from when Jesus came, I've never seen anybody. I've even heard anybody who is like, for me, they have cut on my hand because it's causing me to sin. I've plucked out of my eye because it's causing me to sin. It has never happened. Or I know maybe it means it's all about transformation, becoming more like Christ. It sounds good. I'm enjoying it.
Oh yes, for
Uh,
sure. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like the perspective. I like the conversation. I like how this goes. That's why we the Think High crew, man. This is what we do on these shows.
I know.
I
I'll be here like
I
for
feel
1 week. I'll be here like for 1 week, and it's going to be so powerful for me. I know. Within 1 week, my brain is going to grow big than ever before.
that's what's up, man. You still there though?
Yeah.
I mean, because like the thing is if we don't, and not us, but just in general, if people don't ask questions, if they don't hold people accountable for their actions and or their teachings or whatever it may be, then I
Well, it's
mean,
because it's
the
like it's
human,
hard
the
to have
human.
conversations
That's
with
what.
people
That's
because
why I agree
they
with.
get offended. Yeah.
Right, and that's why I agree with what Trust said about um, something can't be stopped or
Yeah,
go
you
on its
can't be
own if it's not
if
godly, whatever.
if it's
Because
not godly,
I
right?
believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like I resonate with that really heavy because I feel like that in a way that most people will take wrong. I feel like that we are God.
Well,
I don't feel like I'm your God. I don't feel like you're my
right,
God,
right.
but I feel like we are God
Collectively,
as in a sense. Yeah, exactly. So it's
collective consciousness. Yeah, and that's what
exactly,
some people
exactly.
call it Christ consciousness. There's many different words in the lingo,
Yeah, that's like a
and
new age Christ consciousness thing. That's like I see the
it's like
spiritual
a
side of it merging with but there's so many different damn things coming out now. It's crazy. I don't know how many things you get to see of this new age spiritual
yeah.
move Trust, but it's getting hijacked. You know what I mean? And by money, people that want to make money off
Well,
the
just
stuff.
like with the church, and just he know Jesus
Yeah,
had to go up in the church flipping tables. Man, it's the same. It's the same shit happening. You know what I mean?
exactly.
And they take they see what people are clinging to, and then they use that to fucking make themselves millions of dollars instead of actually providing people with the actual knowledge. Because it's rare that you can have a conversation with anybody who's heavily based in a religion and nobody judge nobody, and that's why these conversations don't happen on the
Right.
regular.
Well,
That's why it's taboo. No, go
if
ahead,
you are
Megabyte.
reading the Bible, he is doing more things out of a state of righteous anger than he is anything else.
Yeah, true.
His actions.
And for me, it's like all of the information I've consumed about it, I don't look at it on an external side of things. You know what I mean? Like I've read the Bible a couple times, and the time that I got the most out of the Bible was when I read it as if it was the story of how soul incarnated into a man's body. So if
Okay.
the story of Jesus is the story of how soul got here,
Well, but the
then
Bible is missing many books. It's
oh,
missing
for
lots of
sure.
Well,
Oh
information.
man,
that's
it's
why
missing
I
my
asked.
favorite book. The
Well,
book of
If you
Solomon's
went to
missing. The book of
that's why I
Enoch is
asked
missing.
Trust.
yeah,
That's why I asked
Yeah.
Trust what version
if you go to Barnes and
is he
Noble and you
reading?
buy a book and half the chapters are missing, you're going to take that book back and shove it in their face. So like
Yeah.
this is
Right.
not a
But
whole
yeah,
No, I
book.
You
agree.
gotta
so
buy the
Trust
Dead
what
Sea Scrolls. You gotta buy the books with all the Dead Sea
Yeah.
Scrolls.
Yeah.
so
Those are
Trust what
fucking
version of the Bible are you is the teachings being done at or from? Sorry.
It's the King
Like
James
King
version.
James?
Actually,
King James?
that's the next question that I need to handle. And
Sorry, hey, on this show,
there
man,
are a
we
lot.
we jump around a lot and we just
Mhm.
and we talk over each
Kind of
other
just go with the
sometimes.
flow.
So yeah.
The version, there are a lot of versions. Actually, you were speaking about Africa. Yes, Africa
Yeah.
is big, but at least in Africa, it's really easy to know what's happening in other countries because of the media, because of technology. It is very easy what happens in other countries. There are a lot of versions. There are a lot of versions. Like as you
Right.
know, all the versions are here, but the most trusted version is King James version. Is the most trusted one
Okay.
because
I don't.
we believe.
And you know what? And with all due respect, I will have to just disagree with that one because
Beg
King
pardon?
James wrote the Book of Demonology and published that before he published the Bible. So
They
I mean,
published it
see,
before.
and then they published the Book of Demonology was published maybe like a year or two before the Bible was published. That was the first book that was ever published, not the Bible. It was the Book of Demonology, and King James wrote it. The same guy who supposedly, you know what I mean, authored, or had the Bible translated and whatnot from Hebrew and shit. And that's why I'm like the King James, and it was also altered. There was way more than 66 books. That's what Megawatt was saying. That the Book of Enoch is gone, the Book of Solomon is gone, the fucking there's a bunch of them. You know what I mean? That's fucking missing. The Dead Sea Scrolls hold some of it. It and
Does
you don't get the
anybody
story of
believe that
whole.
does anybody believe that there's possibly a chance that all religion originates from one situation, one thing, and
Well,
then human beings
yeah,
took
because I'm
it
saying like if
use for power and for
you
money,
go as
etc.?
far back as you can
Because everything
to
comes from the Hebrew.
yeah, but if you go even further back to the Sumerians, like I said,
Right, but I'm
there's
talking
still
about
like
like
there's different
I'm just talking
translations,
about
but if
Bible, like is in terms of Bible, like Christianity, whatever. I know what you're about to say, but just like the Hebrew and the
Mhm,
Talmud and the King James, bam,
mhm.
there you go. So it all kind of came from that,
Right, and then
and
that
then
came from
other
some
things
shit,
are added,
yeah, from
but still
ancient
taken
Kemet.
out during.
Right. Like the Ten Commandments, they got from the ancient Kemites who had, like the laws of the universe. You know what I mean? They were more like the laws of universe, like law of attraction, the law, what goes up as above, so below. The fucking laws of the shit that no matter what you believe, you can't fucking change. You know what I mean? Those shits. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh,
Right. So
man,
like,
I sh-
like the thing is like, if we want to be open to just anything, then we got to be like, well, were those people that were way before the Jesus days, right? Were those
right.
people tapped into the same God that Jesus was? And it's always a repetitive situation, not doubting a God here, right? No, nobody's saying a super or
They were the
a
77 commandments of Kemet. Sorry to be. They were more than that.
but what it is like is human beings take things and use them for their own profit to make
Yes.
their power more in control, their fear-based text or requirements to do this, etc., to make it to heaven or not. It's a control method. Even if you don't believe it is, you have to at least be able to see that it does control people. And it does cause, no matter if it's supposed to or not, it does cause
So
war.
what's
It
crazy?
does
So
cause
just
people to hate
yeah,
each other. It does cause divide. And
yeah.
why is it like that? Is it because human beings have taken, quote unquote, the word of God and then
So
humanized it?
so
Or is
where
it
where a lot of that shit, yeah, where a lot of that shit comes from, because you just have to go back. The information is there. If you go back and you just keep going back and just keep going back and just keep going back, it'll take you all the way where you'll be like, well, I'll be damned, because even some of the first writings, like you go back to 5,000 years before the Christian era, you had the 42 ideals of Maat, Maat, from the temple of Isis. And I'm sure you know about that because you were just in fucking that Tut experience in with ISIS and all of that
Oh
shit.
oh
yeah,
yeah,
You know what
bro.
I
Mott
mean?
and
Yeah, I mean,
ISIS were
yeah.
all over the place.
Right.
But
So
here's
go ahead.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, you're
No,
good.
no, I was just gonna say it's the 42 ideas of Mayat, which where they even got math, the word math from, originates from. But the one is I honor virtue, I enjoy with gratitude, I am at peace, I respect the property of others, I affirm that.
The I
These are
am
really just
principles. Yeah.
they are really just affirmations.
And
I
also like
spread
the
joy.
10
I do the
Commandments.
best I can. Yeah, but they're also like the 10 Commandments, but you could tell that it's been obviously altered. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because a lot
Well,
of this is just
what
has
about
nothing to do with an external God. It just says I embrace whole. I move forward through my own abilities. I realize with integrity. I am humble. I praise the goddess and the God. I speak
Yep.
with good intentions. I keep with waters pure. Like it's affirmations. You know what I mean? And
Well, some sort of power
then you have
influence took those things and turned them around to thou
absolutely
shalt not,
there's
you
the
should
Greek
not,
influence,
you
the
know.
Roman influence, and that's where you
Absolutely.
get these Zeuses
And
and
you
you get
start to
Zeus and
bring
you get these other
mythical
gods.
you start to bring
Yep.
mythical creatures in with those themes. So it's a
Yep.
whole different
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well,
The
that's
gods
because
and
when they
goddesses
drew
were
them on the
having
walls and they drew them when they drew them on these big stone fucking tablets, they had them, looking with, different, animal heads and shit like that,
Yeah,
and
but who
people,
made the dinosaurs though?
shit. I don't even think they fucking are real. That's just.
But I'm just saying,
Oh,
like,
Jason, you're
who
I
one
don't
of
made
think
those.
Yep, I don't think dinosaurs existed,
But
man.
look, I mean, honestly though, just think about it. Like, who made the dinosaurs, right? If I
well,
mean,
if you
who
go
made the
with the
dinosaurs?
science if you go with the science experiment theory, they could have been dropped off here to see if they could live.
Right. So, but who made them?
Well, that's the thing is if you're getting dropped off here, it's by people from another planet.
Right. So now we've got to open our minds up to something other than a human existing.
Correct.
In physical,
But
not in spiritual, but in physical form. So were they made
Right.
in God's image also? Or
I
is
don't
it just
think so. Have you
different?
have you seen the cave paintings of them? They don't look like anything you've ever seen.
Man, I don't think fucking dinosaurs are
But
fucking
here's
real, man.
Well, I don't think that. Look, check this out. You got to think about it, right?
I mean, I
So you
think
got to
maybe
think about this.
dragons
We don't.
or like
Okay,
unicorns or
dragons, sea
some shit.
monsters.
Yeah, we
big
could
sea
go
monsters, shit like
there.
that. But think
what
about
about
this,
mermaids?
Yeah,
Think about,
that's more fathomable to me. I think dinosaurs is
yeah.
literally a
Well-
scientific fucking hijack. Like, I don't think dinosaurs.
But think about the dinosaur situation, though. They don't find all the bones.
Right.
They don't find all the bones.
Nope.
They
And then when
don't
you
find
out
all
how
the
many
bones to the dinosaur. They add bones to create the look of the dinosaur. They don't find all the bones of the dinosaurs. So how in the world are we sitting here talking about, oh, a T-Rex looks like this, a giant, like, man, come on, bro. Like, and then
Yeah,
there's
but I
that
mean,
many
what about the
species of dinosaurs?
lizards and alligators and turtles
Yeah, but they
and
still
stuff that have
exist.
been on it?
Yeah,
Agreed.
you're right.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. But a lot of species have gone
So then-
extinct.
Yeah, I know
so then
that.
we would,
I know.
so
but I'm
then
just
we would
saying,
have
like,
to
who made them?
then
is
we
what
would
my
have to
question
accept
was.
evolution though, right? Then we would have to fully accept evolution, and we would have to accept it not in just a transformation manner of our consciousness or from within, but we would have to accept evolution on the fact of like it's real.
Well, can't there
You
be
know what I mean?
both?
So then you would have to. Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean,
I think
I
there
mean,
honestly
humans
is
have
both.
evolved. The modern human, our
Absolutely.
avatar humans,
Yeah, I mean,
have evolved.
there's a tribe off the coast of fucking in the Philippines or some shit, or in the islands area that they build their houses on stilts and they go deep sea diving for their fucking food to eat without fucking scuba gear because they've done it for so many years. And when they breed with each other, they have like a fucking 6 times the average human lung capacity, just because. And so that's a form of evolution, obviously. You know what I mean? And even some of them have small webbing in between their fingers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that obviously, we there's proof of that, but then how far does that shit go? Because there's not no half monkey motherfuckers ready to get let out the fucking zoo.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not down with the we evolved from apes theory unless
Yeah,
we
exactly.
evolved with the help of genetic breeding from other species.
I think that's because the furthest we go back is the ancient Sumerians, and they just popped up. Like when you find, like they wasn't like,
where did
what
they
was
come
there
from?
before that? Yeah, exactly. They just popped the fuck up with architecture, math,
That's not even
engineering.
possible. That's not even possible.
What, to just pop up with all of that?
Pop up. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not
That's
possible.
unfathomable, right? Exactly. To pop up and then you have all of this information about the stars. Like this is shit that goes way back. Like this goes way, 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 way. The furthest we can fucking document. And that's why I'm like, we can go back, but then after that, it's just speculation. Because if we're going based off of what these motherfuckers are translating from these tablets of jade that these motherfuckers wrote on, is that we were dropped off by fucking aliens. And these motherfuckers, well, not necessarily dropped off. We were actually backbred with the hominoids, the natural hominoids of Earth, which would have technically be motherfuckers like Bigfoot, if you want to say. So they bred themselves with Bigfoot to create us, and then you get the whole what reason. So we're just talking about the physical body, and then you're talking about, so around this time, you know what I mean, as far back as this fucking goes, this was even after the fucking dinosaurs. So then they saying before all 230 million years before that was happening, fucking
That's why
fucking lizards walked the
That's
fucking
why I said, well, who made the dinosaurs? Because if we
That's
can't
a good question.
come to terms on who made the dinosaurs, then I mean that's the origin of everything that we know on this earth from
But
living
you see
things.
how the motherfuckers say them dinosaurs was built? How the hell was they even
Scientifically,
made, bro?
I'm
How did they
saying.
mate? Scientifically, how did two T-Rexes even fuck?
I
How
mean,
they fucking built? It doesn't seem logical, bro.
because
Like it does not seem
because
logical.
nothing has ever been said that like a T-Rex just impregnated itself. You know what I'm saying? And
Nah,
like just
nobody.
had eggs. Whatever.
No. So we have to assume that the motherfuckers were mating.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
How, Sway? I don't see how.
I'll be
how
honest
the
with you.
two-
I've never thought about that one before.
Bro,
I've
I've
never
thought
thought
deep about all of this shit, man.
But how do snakes though?
They attach each other. They attach to each other.
Right.
It's weird. There's the woman.
Yeah, I
has
know.
the
I'm
egg
saying like
inside her.
like
Yeah.
so maybe
It
there
looks
was
like
you
a
know,
key port. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like a key port. Absolutely.
and
Yep.
so
And it's just a little slit, and they just attach to each other, and you see them doing like this little roll, and they roll. I watched the Discovery Channel for ages, bro. That was like my favorite motherfucking channel.
Let's turn that off already.
But back in the 90s when it was fucking real, you know what I mean? Like nowadays that channel's full of shit. I can't even watch it no more. But
I had a question though about religious stuff, like
yeah, for sure.
everybody is free to believe their own, version of religion. And if all of us believe a different version, it doesn't hurt any one of us and it doesn't help any one of us. It's just our own beliefs. So why is this such a big deal? Why does it matter if there are 43 different religions across the globe? If you're doing your thing and I'm doing my thing and we're happy believing whatever we believe, why does it
wait,
matter?
though. What, you know what? That's an awesome question, because it's like, because on top of it not mattering, right? All of those religions tell you to love each other.
Exactly.
All of them.
I saw
even the Satanic Bible. All of them tell you to love each other
and respect,
like you would love yourself.
Each other.
Yes,
and
every last one of them. So why is there so much divide? And what did you say, Nova? I think we need to get Buddha, all them niggas in a motherfucking room together and tell them to talk to their people and get this.
I saw the beginning of a concert. It's like probably a 10-year-old concert, And the person performing, he kind of was talking for a minute in between songs, and he said, you know, I want you all, he brought the lights on, and he's like, I want you all to look at your person standing next to you, and I want you to either shake their hand or give them a hug or high five them and, you know, tell them you like them and you respect them or whatever. And I was like, yeah, everybody can do that for 5 minutes. And then the concert resumes and the singing and whatever happens. But they don't, that's not really what they believe. They're just doing that because that's what was told for them to do. But in the end of the day, if I go on Sunday to one church, Nova goes to another church, you don't go to church, and, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter what we are doing because we're not forcing anyone else to do what we want them to do. We're just doing our own thing. And you can worship whatever your religion is and do whatever your beliefs are as long as they're not harming other people.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
It does not matter.
I
You
agree.
can read whatever you want.
I
You
agree.
can, it's so personal and not, it is not meant to
I think
do
that has been
this.
hijacked as well, because I think, like, no matter how you look at it, right? You know what I mean? No matter if you're talking even the new age shit, right? No, how you was talking about that even says the same thing. All of these religious practices all say the same thing when it comes to how we should be treating each other. You was gonna play that? I was gonna let you go ahead and play that. Oh no, you can't talk again. You done walked out the room, huh? I bet that's exactly what happened. Yeah, we only got like 5 minutes left though, guys. So you know it's all good. I'll say this in closing to our discussion today, which we can continue definitely for the next Mindfulness Monday. We can, I don't know what you want to call it, you know, call it Jesus Christ. I don't know, something. We can call it something funny and cool and catchy. But I think it's a topic that we all want to talk with each other about, because like Megawatt was saying, like, it really doesn't really matter, because we all essentially believe that we should be loving each other and respecting each other. And no matter what your religion is, none of that shit matters. You're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. But even if we're deep into that religion, you know, it's taught to treat everybody how we need to treat everybody. And like I said, even from the new age shit that Nova was talking about, even that says that. All of them. They haven't read one book that doesn't tell you to treat people how you would want to be treated. And no religious book, at least. Like I said, even the satanic book, that even said it. So there's a divide that is, I think, being tricked upon us, because, you know what I mean, we're humans and we're easily tricked, because like Megawatt said, it doesn't really matter. I still love everybody. I don't care what you believe.
Yeah, and this,
You know what I
it
mean?
doesn't mean that
That's not about
somebody
to stop.
should it doesn't mean that somebody should not believe in what they believe in. It just means that
Right.
just maybe just think about totally understanding what you believe in.
Right.
And being able to explain it. If you're going to want to convert someone to live their way or live their life that way, be able to show why, not what you've been told, but be able to show the actual reason why
I have a
you
different
believe
perspective,
this.
and be
Like,
able
why
to
do
accept
you
a
really
different
believe it?
perspective
You know,
of your shit. Yeah.
like I said,
and-
like,
and-
who
and-
made the dinosaurs?
Yeah. Good
Because
fucking
if we
question.
can't, oh
That
man,
was
that just
millions of
shows
years
that goes.
before all of this, right?
Yeah,
That
it
goes
goes a
back
lot
further.
deeper.
You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. If we going
And
back, if we going back all the way, you know.
right, exactly. So, like, you know, if God created the dinosaurs, what in the world was that about? You know, like, was that just something that we ain't supposed to worry about? Like, it was just some other shit. And if so, then how are we able to find proof of dinosaurs if they're real? You know what I'm saying? Or is the
Right.
dinosaur thing just to disprove religion? To make
Yeah.
people think, and ask this question right here. Well, where did the dinosaurs come from?
Right.
You know,
But
because
then
you
if
could
you
ask
believe
that
in
as a real
dinosaurs,
smart
then you got
ass.
to bring in the you're right. And then you mean then if you believe in the dinosaurs, then you got to believe in evolution and that humans just crawled out of a fucking cesspool after some just being one bacteria, and then you know what I mean, just and then we evolved into this and evolved into that and then evolved into a monkey and then now we're Homo sapiens. Like you would have to believe all of that if you believe dinosaurs are real.
Right.
I mean that's you know what I mean. So it's just like. You're right. It's all dope ass questions, bro. We can definitely
And
dive
then,
back
like,
into
think
this
about this.
on the
Now,
next Mind
when
Fuck Monday.
we were talking about at first, when we first came in, we were talking about how there's more proof that King Tut exists than Jesus Christ physically, right? Like on the physical, like what you could see, touch, whatever,
Yeah.
right? All right. So, and then Megawatt said there was a bunch of money that was put into just doing all of that, finding that, being able to do it, just all of it, right? And there was, because the thing that I went through the exhibit, that immersive experience is what they call it, by the Discovery Channel. That shit was fire. I mean, National Geographic.
Oh,
My bad.
okay.
And so it was fire though, bro. But so like, there's more proof that King Tut existed. Yes, there was a lot of money put into that. And there was probably a lot of money, you know, we know when they found the stuff, there was a lot of money involved just in general, right? With all the artifacts and all that stuff. But the Vatican has more money than anyone, probably. And they can't prove that Jesus Christ physically existed.
True.
They can, but they don't want to.
How?
Because they would have to show the things that they have that are religious artifacts and relics, and they don't want to show you those where they
But
are.
how? So
Because
so
some
the
of those
Vatican
religious
has stuff.
artifacts and shit is some scientific fucking technology. That's what I think. But
Right.
but
so
I
like
don't think that they could really prove. See, I don't think that they could really prove that Jesus existed. I think